It's not desert season without a campfire or Chupacabra Offroad. Now, here's your host, Nick Olson.
What's happening, everybody? Welcome back to the Chupacabra Offroad Around the Campfire podcast. I'm joined again, of course, by Wes Leffler coming to you from Las Vegas.
Yay.
And Andrew Garvey coming from El Centro.
What's going on, guys?
And I'm your host. My name is Nick Olson. I'm representing Peoria, Arizona, Chupacabra Off-Road. We are a UTV side-by-side accessories brand, and this podcast is about all things off-road, mostly from the side-by-side flavor, a little bit of racing, a little bit of riding. Today, we're talking events, and we're talking about the biggest event of the year. Probably the most drama of the year is the 2020 Sand Show, which just happened last weekend at the Westworld Sports Complex, whatever they call it, in Scottsdale, Arizona. I'm so glad that we made it through. These last 3 weeks have literally been the most stressful weeks of the year for me. My wife and I moved into a new home, also in Peoria. We moved down the street, but it was a stressful move. I don't know if you guys have ever moved when it's a contingent sale. So we had to get the money from our previous home to then get the keys for the new home. So we had all of our stuff sitting in a moving truck for a couple days. And there's just that nerve-wracking feeling like, what if something goes wrong? We sold our house, our old house, which we loved, and we just have a van full of stuff and nowhere to go. But luckily things worked out well. It was just, as most of y'all know, when you ever moved, it's a debacle, especially when you own a business and you have half a garage full of stuff, razors and parts and products and such. And speaking of products, in the middle of my move, I decided to make a run down to California, a 16-hour day to go load up on inventory for this sand show. So I did that a few weeks ago. And then in the middle of that and the sand show, we raced UTV World Championships. So if you guys are interested in learning about that, we were all out there racing, and we just posted a pod on that. And it was a great event, and it worked out really well for us. We also have a bunch of videos on our YouTube channel. If you guys haven't seen us, check us out. But fast forward, all of that happens. And then, in the midst of all that, a lot of planning, and we all go back, reconvene again in Scottsdale for the sand show. And if you guys haven't heard of the sand show, it's a big event. It's for sure the biggest event in our industry. I'd probably say nationwide. I'm pretty ignorant to the other side of the country. I know there's some big events out there, but I think even those guys on the other side of the country have heard of the sand show, which always goes down in Orange County, OC Fairgrounds. It's a huge event. It is half of the day Friday, and then all day Saturday, all day Sunday. Our whole sport has kind of been built around it. This has kind of turned from really a sand car, ATV show into the side-by-side show, just as the sport has changed. And that event, from what I'm told, usually pulls 65, 70,000 people. It's a big deal. The OEMs sell a lot of cars there. I know back in my Polaris days that Polaris would sell over 100, 150 cars amongst all the dealers. A lot of the big-time dealers there move a ton of metal. And all the accessories guys do really, really well. It's one of these events where people have really been kind of trained to come and get a good deal. And, the OEMs help that with coupons. A lot of the aftermarket brands do special once-a-year deals like us. So for us, it was a big event for us. And our first time having a booth last year, we had our race car in Coin Power Sports booth, which is really cool. Thanks, Travis, for hooking us up. But now it's like, okay, we're here. We're an official brand. It's time for us to do our deal. We're going to make it happen no matter what. And then COVID happens in March. So, things intensify. And we probably jinxed this, guys, because our second podcast was about COVID shutting down the desert. It was only natural that COVID was going to probably shut down Sand Show, which, of course, it did.
Plandemic.
So I forget when it was, but the Sand Show is usually in mid-September. And this is always a perfect time of the year. We're all kind of getting through summer, and it's a trigger in everyone's mind, especially for the Californians. Hey, beach is over, put away your boats. It's time to start getting your car's vehicle ready for the Dune season, your first Dune trip. And it's just a trigger where, the weather starts to shift, all those type of things. And of course, with COVID, they announced it was canceled. And then they announced for a very brief period of time that they were going to try to do it, I think, the weekend before Thanksgiving in Pomona, which probably would have been a disaster.
Oh, yeah.
It would have been canceled.
Yeah. And I just say disaster, not just because of the event would have not gone off. Who knows? It's a big event space. But, I think having it in the middle of desert season at that point, it's good weather, and a lot of people would have already have planned trips. I mean, Thanksgiving is the biggest holiday of the year at Glamis. So I say disaster because, like, as a vendor trying to have a booth, do you spend the money on the booth and then half the people are out living the lifestyle? Where one of the reasons why I think the event was so successful is that, you know, it always happened before the season really kicked off.
Also, that was scheduled, and that was also the week of the Baja 1000. So you would have tons of people from the industry not even going to the event.
Yeah, exactly. So lots of competition. And then they announced shortly after that, I think that was only like the plan for like maybe a week and a half or 2 weeks, that they moved the event to Scottsdale. So at this point, we're far enough down COVID and our conversations we all had was like, look, there's probably no way it's going to happen in California, but there probably is a chance it could happen in Southern Nevada, Utah, or Arizona. And Arizona obviously seemed like the most logical place to have it. There's a ton of off-roaders. We're pretty much an off-roader's dream here in our state. You know, we're street legal in a lot of places and a lot of more open places to ride. So they said, it's going on, game on. And we're like, well, you know, it's not California, but for us as an Arizona-based brand, for me getting inventory, it seemed like a lot of things were going to work for us. And of course, we committed to a booth no matter where they're going to have it. So we had planned, we were fired up for it. So we all show up. Friday was a chill day. We showed up, we got our booth all set up. We had some issues. I wouldn't say it was chill, but we weren't open to the public. We had like these issues with like even getting our iPad set up to sell products. We couldn't even get them freaking set up with the iTunes accounts. But
Yeah, but then the tech guy shows up and does it in like 3 minutes. So
Yeah.
Yeah. So we thought we had our T's crossed. We had a great team. There were 6 of us, us 3, Wes's wife, who was amazing. And then Haley, who you guys may have seen if you watch our YouTube channel. You're going to see a lot more from her in the future, who's part of the team, of course. And then Jessica, who is another, you know, part of our team, who is an amazing planner, who's very calm, who's worked at this and other brands, and really knows how to pull it off. So by Friday night, we had the booth really organized, what we wanted it to look like. We had a air conditioning unit in the trailer in case it got hot, which of course it did because it's Arizona. It was 98 degrees. West Jimmy rigged that, so it was working well. And we were ready for game time pretty much Saturday morning. So fast forward Saturday morning, we show up. We got our booth. It's in a good space. We're outside. You know, we're kind of in a high-flowing traffic street, I would say. We weren't inside, but the inside booth space was double the cost, so it was hard to justify it was going to be worth it or not. And then for us selling products, you know, we had our trailer there to sell product out of, where that wouldn't have been able to happen inside. So I was feeling really confident with our booth space and where we were, and even reflecting, I thought that was a good space for us to be in.
I've talked to a few people since then, and they've said, man, you guys had a really, really good spot. So we need to really pay attention to that in the future. But man, we definitely were down like Main Street, it seemed like.
Yeah, and that was a little bit of dumb luck, you know, not even looking at the map and not really realizing what the flow of traffic was going to be, because even this event previously, when they held it in Arizona here at Westworld, it was in a red barn. So I didn't even realize till we showed up on Friday where the actual event was going to hold place, because there was a home show going on at Westworld at the exact same time. So interesting turn of events, but again, it's COVID, it's 2020, everyone's rolling with it, everyone's excited. And that's one thing I would say, you know, everyone was surprised how excited the turnout was, because as all of us vendors, I mean, I thought it was going to be a little soft. I definitely didn't think it was going to be anywhere near the California show, but we were all bombarded and completely flabbergasted, I would have to say, by how many people started flooding those doors 9 a.m. Saturday morning.
Oh yeah, our booth was popping the whole time from about 9:30 to about 1:30 when they closed the gates down.
Well, not only that, it makes you wonder, like, was that popping everywhere, or was it just because people really wanted to come to our booth? You know, like, I think our booth was set up so well. I think with the social, the YouTube, the podcast, the racing, everything that we have going with Chupacabra, people know us. Like, every time a person would come up, it wasn't like, oh, what do you guys do? I don't think I got that question one time. Like, what do you sell? And it was always, hey, I've seen your YouTube videos. You're awesome. Or I follow you guys on social media. Or I have these mirrors in my car. You know, it's pretty cool, man, to be able to talk to a bunch of people and see them just loving on the brand.
Yeah, you know, I like that you brought that up, because I think this pod will talk more from the business end. You know, we're a small business attending our first trade show. And at the end of the day, we sell products to keep the lights on, to fund the content. You know, like all of you guys, you really do make it happen. So thanks to everybody who buys our products, because that enabled us to go buy a drone and even have the ability to go, you know, hire a social media person to help and then to grow our content. And, you know, I think there's a lot of people that buy our products, maybe haven't heard of our content. There's a lot of people that watch our content, maybe haven't bought our products. We haven't put out a product offering that they haven't been excited about yet. So we are going to soon. We showed a couple new products that we're excited about. We'll talk about that in a minute. But, you know, as a small business, I think we need a lot of planning. And like you said, it's been building a lot of steam by putting the social out there. You know, I'm a firm believer that we're here to make off-road culture better. And we're going to offer products that we think are at the best value with some of the best transparency. I don't know if there's many brands out there that are as transparent as us in terms of how many Amazon reviews we have in general, our Facebook reviews, and how much, you know, the way we choose to run our business, we respond to all of those comments, every Facebook comment, you know, all of our targeted ads, all that type of stuff. So we're really out there in the right type of way. We think, you know, where we're trying to provide much value. You know, we're a little bit of racing, we're a little bit of product company, we're a little bit of going to Glamis. We love all of it. And for the purpose of this show, you know, it was a really good feeling, like you guys said, you know, before things got shut down, which we'll talk about in a second, that people came up to us, they recognized us, they knew who we were one way or another. And that was something that, you know, we learned so much that day, because people were coming in, and Andrew and Wes, you guys are kind of running point where you guys out front of the booth. And then we really, you know, like from how Jess and Haley really set the booth up, the booth flowed people amazingly well. I want you guys to talk about that, because I think, you know, guys that just want to talk shop, talk YouTube, talk racing, you guys are right there, or talk products. And if people wanted to come and buy, we had a clothing rack right there that was very shoppable. And then you could come in a little bit further if you wanted to look at the door bags, you want to look at our new products. So how did you guys think about that as a business's first time at a trade show?
Well, I mean, I think the booth was set up perfectly. I mean, we had the cars on display that we brought the race car, and I thought it was really cool. We brought the race car completely dirty from UTV Worlds. So everybody who had watched part 1, 2, and 3, which we'd released on purpose before the show, they could see, oh, here's the race car. Oh, sweet. And they could actually look at it and see the dirt. Then obviously Andrew's car was there, which is one of the most beautiful cars that's in the world right now, with, you know, and how bougie it was. I mean, he was out there rubbing it with a diaper.
And it's not just a Glamis queen. I mean, a lot of those cars are Glamis queens, but obviously, you know, he put a scratch on it.
He took that thing. He took that thing on the Havasu poker run, bro. Like, calm down. Like, he's over there polishing with a diaper, and that thing's just popping. But people would walk up and they'd see it. But the way that we had had it set up with every mirror on display, I thought that was perfect the way we had it, because we have all these different colors, and we didn't have to tell them like, oh, we have this color, this color, this color, and then, oh, will it match this? They could hand touch everything, and then, like you said, then it would bring them a little bit further into the booth. You know, if somebody walked up and said, hey, I want a set of these in black, I have a Pro XP, or I have a CanAm, whatever, we could run and grab them, say, just hop in line here. We could start bagging stuff up, give people some free goodies to go with their order. And it just really, really flowed really well. And I, you know, got to give credit to Haley and Jessica and Mary and them that actually, you know, put the female perspective on the booth. And I think without those three, us three would be lost. I don't know what would happen. We probably would have, I don't know what we would have done, but no, they set it up perfectly. And then I just got to say it, you know, this logo, you guys, I mean, everybody out there listening, I say it over and over and over again. When this logo was developed a few years ago, when Nick came up with this logo, I mean, he hit the jackpot. Everybody knows who we are. And if they don't, they remember the logo and they will find out who we are. Mm-hmm. So that being said, I mean, Andrew, I mean, you can talk about the booth also. I mean, I thought it was set up great. We had plenty of advertising. We had all the different signage and everything that we needed. We kind of looked like it wasn't our first rodeo. Like, you really knocked it out of the park.
Yeah, definitely. It definitely looked like we knew what we were doing. Along with, it took me back to working in the shop days. You know, people would come up and they're asking your expertise on the parts that we sell. So talking about our mirrors, you know, our new products, our door bags, and just talking shop. A lot of people come up to me and say, hey man, I came to look at your car because I see it in all these videos and I haven't seen it in person, and I'm really excited to see it. So, you know, I talk it through it. You know, I showed them.
Love that too. Don't be on.
Hey, I'm not going to lie. I do like that. You know, I never thought I'd be part of a company or part of anything where people actually come up to me and recognize me and say, "Hey, can I take a picture with you?" It's kind of a cool feeling. Like even going here in Southern California, going through some of these Border Patrol checkpoints, stuff like that, I have some of the Border Patrol officers, "Hey, you're the guy from YouTube." It's kind of crazy. But going back to the Sand Sports Show, it was definitely an awesome event. A lot of people really knew who we were, and that's the biggest thing. You know, I've been there since ground zero with the company, and you know, grinding all these past 2 years and really making a brand to where we're at right now. You know, seeing that grow from nothing is the biggest accomplishment, and it was just a great event.
It was fun, man. It was really fun because it's like when you're selling something that you believe in and selling something that you know about, it's not like selling anything else. It's not like going to get a job at a new car dealership and it takes you 2 months to know what's going on. I mean, we know what size, we know, you know, what's going to fit it. You know, even people would come up and say, "Hey, I got your mirrors, but I had this little problem with it." I was able to give them pointers on how not to have that problem, how to fix it. And then when people would find out, because at first people are like, "Oh, so how do I just go online and order these?" And I'm like, no, like
got them right
that
here.
trailer is full of these. Like, "Oh, really?" And I'm like, "Yeah, if you buy it today, you get the Sand Show price." And after that, man, I think people just started seeing our bags. Obviously, we had the sun hats, the river hats, which, oh my goodness, you know, I think we sold 150 of those in 2 hours because they were a good product. They had the logo and they were freaking popping. I didn't even get one. I feel bad that I didn't pull one aside and hide it for myself because, you know, everybody knows I need it because I'm going to get a freaking sunburn every time I don't have a hat on. But it just was, the vibe was really cool. And me and Andrew being out there, you know, not necessarily being the salesman, but asking people questions, inviting people into the booth, and Nick being able to talk to, you know, bigger people that would show up and be like, "Hey, you know, we're this dealer or we're that dealer, and we want to start carrying your product." And then the girls back there selling stuff. I mean, I felt bad for the girls because we kept sending people that I felt bad, and I would go in and I'd grab the product and I'd start bagging it up for them, and then so it was all just them swiping cards and taking cash. So it was amazing. You know, I was. You know, we'll get to it in a minute, but, you know, I was bummed that we didn't get to do it longer.
Yeah, and real quick on the sun hats, I'll make sure you guys both get one. But since you guys got such big heads, they had to put them on a bigger boat. So when they get here, I'll let you guys know.
I thought you said that they designed the new sun hat for me because I was the first one to try it on, and it was amazing. And then I set it to the side, and the next thing I know, some other lady bought it. So I don't know.
No, I think the only person who got one was Jessica. She hid it in the trailer, and she's like, "Hey, I'm taking this for later."
And also, too, like when we started selling those hats, people immediately started wearing them, so more people saw them, and it was like the most brilliant marketing, you know.
For sure.
Concept.
Even towards the end of the show,
we could have 5 more boxes.
Even at the end of the show, when you know, people started dwindling out and people were still coming, "Hey, do you guys have those sun hats? We've seen a lot of people wearing them." Unfortunately, we're sold out.
You need to re-up on those and get those on the website quick.
Yeah, no doubt.
Because people are going to want those. So,
no doubt.
Especially for Dune season with a little bit warmer weather that we're having, and I think it's going to be a top seller for sure.
Yeah, we need little nets. Our buddy Carl's got a Can-Am with a stock cage, and you put a little net on it, and his sun hat fits perfectly in, you know, above him and his co-passenger's head. So when he can get out of the dunes, he's got his hat, and it doesn't get, because those hats are fragile when you're off-roading. But we need to make a little holster for everyone's cars.
Is that before he runs out of talent?
Oh man!
Oh, low blow.
We'll have to get him on her to defend himself. But yeah, you know, it was. I'm glad you brought those points up. You know, as a small business, like talking about how the products in general, we've been out of stock a lot of year because it's 2020, and you know, sales exploded, and then supply chain becomes difficult, and then getting it in stock with our fulfillment center becomes difficult. It's just been this. It's been so much drama, and we've been sending people some mirrors with the wrong clamps. So if that happened to you, I apologize. You know, we're doing our best as a small business trying to get through this. But we don't know how many products to bring, you know, like it's our first show. Are we going to sell, you know, are we going to sell $1,500? Are we going to sell 50,000? I have no clue. And we had a good enough amount of product. We had a good selection, or a good volume, I would say. Who knows what could have been, because like Andrew commented, you know, the show's going, and then we get word around 1 o'clock, I think. The fire marshal shut it down.
1:30.
And I think originally they shut it down to people unless they had pre-purchased tickets. But then I had a buddy I met on a recent Glamis trip who came all the way from California, and his buddies didn't get in and they pre-purchased tickets. And I would have been frustrated for sure.
It was probably around 11:30, 12 o'clock. I walked out to the front to hand off some tickets to some people. And I was wondering what was going on because people were exiting, but nobody was entering the building. And then you look out, and as long as you had a vendor pass on, they weren't saying anything to you. But there was probably about 300 people in line, and I just didn't understand. I thought maybe they were gonna, like, every 2 people that left, they'd let 2 people come in. That wasn't the case at all. They weren't letting a single person enter, and it was really, really odd if they didn't have a vendor pass. So obviously there are people who already had tickets because they weren't in line for tickets. The ticket booth was farther down, but I can't imagine being those people and showing up and then parking probably was a half a mile away and then get all the way to the line and then just to be told that you're not allowed inside.
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
Yeah, a guy DM'd us on Instagram, came all the way from the Dominican Republic and couldn't get in.
Yeah. Talking to the Bonnier events lady that was at the front gate for us exhibitors. I was talking to her. She said that the first day or Saturday, those first couple hours, they had over 8,000 people come in. They had to turn around about 5,000 people on Saturday. So that's coming from the event, one of the event coordinators. And that's a lot of people. That's a lot of lost sales right there for a lot of vendors.
But you think it's upsetting because you think that they would know this. How can they not know how many tickets they sold? You know what I'm saying? So like, my frustration would have been super high if I wasn't able to get in. If I drove from Vegas down there and I showed up and I had tickets and everything was in order and they're not letting me in, I'm going to be pretty upset. Not only at the location and them, but also that Sandshow would even sell me tickets if they haven't been reporting it. I don't know why it was or whatever. I mean, I can assume, but at the same time, it's like very frustrating, very frustrating.
Yeah, definitely. And I think going back to them not knowing, they do host the Off-Road Expo for more of the off-road Jeeps, trucks, stuff like that. You got to think Arizona is huge for side-by-sides. Nick lives there. He can drive his Razor to dinner if he wants, You got to think about how many people use UTVs in Arizona. So I think they were trying to go off the numbers of what they've seen in the past for Off-Road Expo and not really see it in the UTV market. And us, as UTV guys, we know Sand Sports is huge for UTVs. That's where you go get your deals for the the winter. You get your paddles, you get your seats, you get your cages, your lights, everything. And I don't think they were ready for the amount of people that were interested in that show in that such small venue.
I think I predicted it, though. I think on a few podcasts ago, we kind of talked about this a little bit. And I said that if it was going to be anywhere but Southern California, the Phoenix Valley would be the place that it needed to be. And that is probably the second biggest area of off-road that, at least for the West Coast, that we deal with. And just imagine all the people from Southern California. We know several that we talked to that showed up to the show. I mean, obviously it's not at the 70,000 people mark, but they didn't expect that. They must have been expecting way low numbers, way low numbers. And because if we're at 5,000 people that they turned away, at 8,000 entered, and most of it being outdoor, I don't know.
Yeah. I think the venue was a little on the small side. Also, the 3 events being held at that venue on the same weekend. You had the Home and Garden Show. You had the Barrett Jackson Auto Show going on. I think a lot of that had to do with it. We were taking up the auto show's parking. So maybe they had a little word to do with it. I know Nick had contacted Bonnier to see if he could get a refund, and I'll let Nick explain on that one.
Yeah, and it's frustrating. This is kind of like what we're talking about is probably what a lot of vendors felt and patrons. And I did reach out to someone from Bonnier. They did announce that they are offering a good refund for us vendors to use for the next year's show. And honestly, we're going to be at the show next year. I'm hopeful that it'll be back in California in 11 months' time. But, we did ask them, hey, we don't want this pod to just be kind of like a complaining fest.
For
and
sure.
I think they're going to, hopefully they'll follow up, and we'll follow it on another pod if we hear back from them. Just like what challenges were they facing. I think at the end of the day, it's cool that they try to make it happen. And it's a super bummer because so the day slows down Saturday, wraps up, and then we start hearing word around the campfire that, hey, it's not looking good for tomorrow, guys. And we're like, what? No way, whatever. Let's load up. Let's go check into our hotel. Let's go get some dinner. And then we get back to our hotel. Like, I think the PRP guys are getting on the same elevator as us. We're like, oh, did you see Instagram? It's done.
Just like that. Just like that.
So now we're
I mean, honestly, I don't want to focus on the bad or anything like that, because I know, I mean, if you look at it from their perspective, Bonnier, the last thing they'd want is for it to get canceled. It wasn't like they're like, oh man, if we can get this thing canceled, we can go home early. No, it definitely wasn't. I just think the communication is different. I think that also that people were aware of what the Scottsdale area and how there was no mandates for people wearing masks, outside. There was no mandate anywhere. So I think they had a hard time with that because they were trying to make people wear masks outside. They had people walking around telling you must have your mask on, things like that, because maybe the social distancing wasn't what it was supposed to be. And I get that, but people don't understand that. People don't like, oh, I'm outside, no mask. That's what they think. And so not to bash on Bonnier or even the people of Scottsdale, not even the fire marshal, really, it just seems like maybe the communication could have been better. Or maybe the contract should have said something different, because there's no way that Bonnier was going to be able to enforce that amount of people to wear masks when they don't have to wear masks if outside anywhere else, So I'm super excited. I thought that Saturday was, like I said, it was amazing. It was fun. I got to talk to so many people, meet so many new people, sell a ton of product, talk about some new products and it was amazing. And I was more bummed, not because it got canceled, but I was more bummed because I had such a good time. It was super fun, and I was so looking forward to Sunday doing the same thing all over again.
Yeah, and I don't want to start a rumor, but I think it's a good plausible scenario. I mean, that the fire marshal shut it down. I heard that the first building people walked into, the big airplane hangar, if you will, that was air conditioned, was only set up to hold 3,000 people, and there were 7,000 people in it. And I heard inside at that time in the morning that it was complete pandemonium. Like, you couldn't get into a booth to say hi, to see somebody's products. It was like a concert from what people described it as. So,
Oh, wow.
It's funny because the official statement was due to COVID restrictions. And like you said, Wes, there wasn't a clear, defined, you have to wear a mask inside but not out. You have to wear a mask the whole time. They were asking us staff to wear it, but outside it was 100 degrees. So a lot of people just weren't wearing them. But and then they were coming by our booth. So it might not even be so much related to that, but in any event, like, I'd like to hear back from them, and we'll update you.
Yeah. And my only assumption on the whole thing would be that maybe part of the contract that they signed was that they would enforce, they would be the ones enforcing people to wear masks outside. Flashback to UTV World Championships. I think the Martellis were probably a little bit smarter in their contract. I think that they did more of the fact that all of us will be wearing masks. We will post people that they should wear masks, but there's no way that they were going to be able to enforce everybody at that race to do masks. So they didn't take upon that responsibility. So maybe that could be one of the causes that Bonnier took on themselves, not knowing, or maybe thinking that it wasn't going to be as hard as it was. Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, I mean, Scottsdale's a real nice area, real nice people. I didn't think the event was, super terrible or anything like that. It just wasn't California, I guess, but I'm just excited for the next one, man. I just enjoyed it. I really enjoyed seeing the people, talking to them, and showing them what we had to offer.
Yeah, I think for our first show, our first trade show, being a small brand, I know Nick was stressed out the whole weekend, if we're going to have the sales or if we're going to have enough product, We even got an extra trailer just to fill up just in case if we needed to bring more product in. Again, going into our first show, we really didn't know how it was going to turn out, but I'm kind of happy that it kind of did not get canceled, but I'm bummed. But I think for our first show, it was really good. It wasn't as big as Sand Sports here in California, but it definitely was buzzing around, till about that 1:30 mark. And I feel like a lot of people were in our booth. A lot of people were buying, and a lot of people just really like coming and checking out our products, the cars, the race car, again, going back to it being dirty from UTV Worlds, and then also seeing my car there from the YouTube videos, the Chup Turbo Twins and everything like that. So
Yeah.
really good first show for us.
I think you're absolutely right, Andrew. I think that the fact that it was our first show, if we'd already been to the big, huge show in California and then this happened, we'd probably be pretty upset. Maybe more upset than we are, or more bummed, I guess is the word, not upset. But now it's kind of like a soft opening, like restaurants have soft openings. This was kind of like our soft opening. And now when we go to other trade shows and other events, I think that it'd be great. I tried to talk Nick into driving the trailer up to Parker. I was going to sling product out at the race, in between my heats, in between the races this weekend, but guess not. So
Yeah, or UTV Takeover in San Hollow that starts, I think, today or tomorrow. And, the Sand Show too, I think, talking about traffic again, I didn't get a chance to really walk around much. I went out to the trailer to get more sun hats as we ran out. I walked past CanAm's booth. I saw a little bit of Polaris booth, Kawasaki's booth. And I have to say, like, our row that we were on was in direct line to Robbie's speed booth. And the speed, again, I mentioned on the last pod about the hype. The speed hype was real. Unfortunately, Robbie, the team, they were saying they're going to have a 4-seat chassis, and they didn't, but it at least had the new 2-seat El Diablo prototype. So, I don't know if you guys saw or heard of any other new products other than the stuff products that we kind of launched, but or showed to customers. But did you see or hear anything on Instagram or while you're at the event that was cool and unique and new?
I think the only, like you said, I walked out front a couple of times, but it was just walk out front, drop tickets, and then get right back to it. One thing I did see, and I don't know who I was talking to. Maybe it was when me and Andrew were talking to somebody. Is there's a new Scat Track type buff sand tire brand? What was that? Rogue, Andrew?
Rogue tires, I think it was. Yeah, they were right there inside in the hangar.
And so it was cool to see that, because I was like, man, I'm kind of in the market for some paddles. I might shop around and see what people got. So obviously I had Sandcraft there and Scat Track, and the lines out of those places are huge. I didn't really have time to shop around. I was thinking maybe the end of the day, Sunday, I would shop around if I needed to, but I saw that new tire brand and I never even heard of it before. So there's another player there.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, going to vendors, there wasn't really a lot of vendors. We didn't see, some of the top vendors from California, like SDR, Burt's Mega Mall, Baja Designs wasn't there. A lot of these companies that really have really big booths and really popular booths in California didn't even make an appearance here.
I thought Burt's was there. Burt's wasn't there?
No, Burt's wasn't there. It was Ride Now. Was
Right Now, AZ West, I think, Adrenaline,
and Nash Power Sports,
and of course Nash. Yeah.
So,
Okay.
but yeah, I've seen a lot of the companies that bailed out last minute. There was still a lot of room for a lot of companies, but I think with it being in California or being in Arizona and with COVID restrictions, I think it scared a lot of people. And I can only imagine if we would have traveled out to California and had the Sand Show canceled, within that day, it kind of hurts, our travel expenses, right. Hotel rooms, the fuel to get there, the inventory, everything like that. So I'm sure a lot of people were hurting, such as, PCI, PRP seats coming from California, stuff like that. So
yeah, PCI extended their deals, but talking with a buddy that I know that works there, they still did pretty well because there wasn't a lot of competition. So when people were going, like you said, you're walking past a bunch of different things. Everybody wants a stereo. Everybody wants this, wants that, wants that. But when PCI is one of the main things there in their deals, they moved some material there, and then obviously they had more, but they moved a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, we decided to extend the sale a couple of days too, just because I felt like it was the right thing to do. A lot of potential customers didn't even get in or got burned in that regard. So we kept the sale going, and then Haley and I shipped out like 50. We shipped out a bunch of products, and those are just a sliver, and we had really good online sales. So thank you guys for supporting our brand. So
okay, really so
cool.
you saw people still taking advantage of the deal?
Yeah. Monday was a really good day for us, and then
awesome.
We have to ship everything, so that's challenging. It slows it down, but we thought it was cool to just keep that going and offer that to our customers. So
awesome.
Yeah, and like what Andrew said, with all the challenges being said, some of the bigger companies in the aftermarket game not showing up, that was still the most buzzed off-road event in Arizona I've ever seen. I've been to the off-road show here the last 3 or 4 years. It was really hype until they shut it down. So that was cool. I mean, California showed up. I ran into Courtney, Queen Glamis on Instagram. She's known for being out of Boardmanville, a big Glamis Dune rat herself. And she said a lot of her crew from Pad 3, they were all out there camping. So, you know, I used to be a Californian. I was in San Diego. I got really fair weather when I lived there. I'm like, it's Californians are fair weather. They're not going to make the drive. It's 100 degrees, but Californians really showed up. I mean, I don't think it would have been as strong.
Yeah, I
No,
think
for
I think
sure.
a lot of people from like the LA Riverside area, it's probably about 4 or 5 hour drive. That's, you know, you can do that in a day. You know, wake up really early in the morning, head out to Scottsdale, go see the show, grab lunch, grab dinner, head on back.
Yeah, give you an opportunity to eat inside a restaurant too, you know, where you can't do that in California. So
Yeah, you got to eat outside, unfortunately. But
yeah.
yeah, a lot of people from my hometown actually went. You know, people were coming up to me and they're like, "Hey, we're from the Imperial Valley, you know, or we're from Indio, we're from Palm Springs, you know." So a
You
lot
guys
of
from Yuma?
Californians were out there. A couple
Talk to
guys
some
from
guys
Yuma.
from Yuma. Yep, for sure.
So, and definitely, and one of what's funny is one of the Border Patrol agents that sees me go through the checkpoint all the time actually came up to me. He's like, "Do you remember me?" I'm like, "Nope." So he came from all the way from the Imperial Valley. So, you know, good.
Was he the guy that took the photo of Will?
Yeah, he's the guy that took the photo of you so that he could turn it into his boss and be like, "Hey,
Yeah.
here's the guy."
Yeah. So
Yeah,
it was definitely a lot of people from California.
Yeah, speaking of which, Blake Wilkie, Wes found him and had him come over to our booth, which was really cool, and chatted with him for a minute. We showed a new mirror that we've been working on. We've been working on a lot of new products that you guys are going to see here come to retail in the next 3 to 4 to 5 months. But speaking of which, we're recording this pod on a Thursday night. Tomorrow I'm leaving for Mexico. We're going to put a few hundred miles on some new products, and then Wes's team, him and Sierra, might be racing on new side mirror. So we're really close to having it ready, but we're not going to launch anything that we don't think is ready, that we haven't put some miles on it. Andrew's got a set. He's going to go hammer out in the desert as well for Halloween. So now comes the fun time where we've got some exciting new products. Got a really good response of the new side mirror that we've been working on. I think we're going to do a YouTube video series building the perfect side mirror, because I think that's kind of the goal. And we're kind of trying to kind of take it to where we see some trends going and then try to offer something that's a little bit different and unique. And of course, we're going to have the best value, the best price point in the market. And when we ask whatever price we're going to ask, it's going to be better than what the competition's doing, because, you know, we ride, we know this stuff, we get it. We got a solid engineer on board now. You know, we live this lifestyle. You know, it's all documented on the YouTube. You know, I'm going to stop talking smack here, but
Yeah, geez, calm down.
I'm super excited about what we've got coming out product-wise, because I think our content's been great. You know, like Andrew said, I was so stressed leading into this event, because not only did, you know, we have all this stuff going on before with the race, but in between the race and the event, we put out 4 YouTube videos as well as a targeted Facebook ad video about the event. So we want to get that content out. We thought it was super cool that we had the car from the race all dirty in the booth with the new videos showing, you know, just again, trying to step our game up and provide as much value as we could. And it was pretty cool. There's a couple people just hanging out watching the videos in the booth.
Yeah, there was a lot of hype with
Go ahead, Wes. Sorry.
No, I was just saying there's a lot of hype with the new mirrors. It was really exciting to get to see them, you know, firsthand and be able to put them on the car and show that what we're thinking and get people's feedback. I mean, like you said, I saw Blake inside one of the booths. He obviously recognized us from, you know, being a part of the company and helping out and doing his brand mirrors with the Queros. And I was like, hey, man, you know, when you get a chance, come stop by the booth. We'd really like to get some feedback from you. I got a new mirror. It's really sick. It's really nice going. And, you know, Blake, he's like, let's do it now. So he walked out chat with that guy. For those of you who don't know Blake, you might just see him on social, or you might just see him, you know, on his videos. And that guy is an intelligent human being. When it comes to engineering and a lot of different things, he's very, very, very articulate, very smart, and he's very honest in his feedback. And one of the nicest people you can meet. I mean, I know that us three will say that. And came over to the booth, and I dropped him off at Nick's so I could keep talking to people. And it seemed like he was really giving some solid feedback on the new mirror, and along with him, and then tons of people that, you know, people that are listening, that, you know, we're able to see the new mirror and we're able to explain what we were thinking, and a lot of positive feedback. I know that I could have sold probably 20 sets of those at least. People wanted to buy them. They wanted to take them out the car, and you know, they asked about the name and things like that. I'm just like, oh, just calm down, you know. So when it came to that, it was kind of like I felt like I was holding back from them, but at the same time, like I'm really excited to get the final testing phase done on these. Go out there and actually put them to work so that we can get those things and other products that we got in line just dropped in. People will know that they can depend on them.
Yeah, that's the fun thing about being a small brand. And like I mentioned before, getting a lot of consumer feedback. We've got probably more reviews on Amazon than most brands in the industry. And then that's a big part of us is just listening to feedback and iterating. I asked at least a dozen people, what do you think of the look? Is it too big? Is it not big enough? What do you think of the colors? Do you think of the, this option, that option? We'll get into it more here in a little bit. We haven't even really done an official post on social about it, but there's some photos kind of floating around, and you'll see a lot of content coming up soon. And we got a patent pending on the design, and we're gonna come to market with something that we think is unique and creative, that we think is cool and exciting. That's gonna be a great add-on to your side-by-side. And then also, like with Blake's feedback, even this thing could be just as at home on the Megalodon, on a trophy truck, all those type of things. Anything that goes fast in the dirt, like this mirror set is designed for those. So I'm really excited to get into the next phase of launching some new products here for you guys. So this year has been a really big year. We made a lot of positive changes inside the company, get the right people in place so that now we can really start moving forward with some designs and work on some new designs and get more efficient with our engineering so that we can launch these products. And taking that feedback, like you said, Wes, you could have pre-sold so many. Now we have an idea of how many we can bring to market so we can offer the best price possible. So that's the game. We're going to come in with more value, with our flavor on it. And I think you guys are really going to like what we got coming.
Oh yeah. Booyah.
So stay tuned for that. Thanks everybody for checking out. Any closing thoughts about the sand show, and kind of we'll give people a little next pod. I think, I kind of teased, Wes is racing Parker this weekend. I'm headed to Mexico, and really we have the Glamis Fevers in full bore. I think it's going to be low 80s this weekend, and then next weekend it's going to cool way off. I'm sure a lot of people are going to be heading out for Halloween. It's go time.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I think, just closing thought, I really had a good time. For all those people I got to talk to and that we got to, that bought our product and really believe in what we're doing. And I just want everybody to continue. I know we talk about this a lot, but just understand that we're just like you guys out there. We're enthusiasts. We love this. We love being, part of the off-road community and putting out the content and the products and everything. It's cool to be able to do both sides of the page, and had a really good time. And thanks to Nick for getting this wild idea a few years back and making this all go ahead. And it's just only going to get bigger and better from here. And I just encourage people that if you have questions or concerns about anything, hit us up. We're not, like Nick said earlier, we answer those comments. We take into perspective every suggestion that people might make, just to make the company better. We don't think we're better than anybody else. And, we're just trying to have a good time and, put out the best content and products that we can.
No doubt.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah. So, all right, guys, well, we're going to wrap this one up. Thanks for jumping on again, guys. Fun times as always. Stay tuned for all you listeners out there, and we'll catch you on the next one.
Thank you for listening to Around the Dumpster Fire.